This is Adrian Clark, the boxing manager of Brian Norman Jr. This is what he said.
Before the fights actually happen, I get it. The fans want to see the fight. The fans are tired of waiting for fights. Fans are tired of waiting for fights falling out. I get all that shit. But business has to be handled. And in this situation, bruh, this wasn't a situation where we was pricing Brian out or we were looking to kill the fight by pricing ourselves out. We've been in this business, meaning me and Jolene the Zone, we've been in this business for a very long time. If we was gonna price ourselves out, bro, we would have been like $3 million or $4 million, and we would have been stuck there, and that would have been that. That would have been us pricing ourselves out. We came to the table to get a deal done to make this fight happen because this is what Brian Norman Jr. wanted. It's what Senior wanted. However, in regards to the numbers, it has to make sense.
All right, let me stop right there and show y'all what y'all heard, but you probably didn't listen to it because it went over your head. Some of you. He said, this is the fight that Brian Norman Jr. wanted, and this is the fight that Brian Norman Sr. wanted. Is that what he said? Okay, cool. So if Brian Norman Jr. wanted this fight, and you're the boxing manager, you work for Brian Norman Jr. Brian Norman Jr. don't work for you, the manager. So if this is a fight that the boxer wants, this fight should be happening right now. If this is the fight that the boxer wants, this fight should be happening right now. Why? Last time I checked, and I'm a boxing manager, but the last time I checked, the boxing managers, we work for the fighter. We represent the fighters, right? The fighters don't work for us. So if a fighter tell me, Manager Marty, I can beat Boots, I want Boots, I'm gonna negotiate within his or her best interest. But I'm not gonna stop the fighter from getting exactly what they want. This is their career. So if this is a fight that Brian Norman Jr. wanted, and you're the boxing manager, then why don't we have the fight? We need answers.
As we say, high risk, high reward. Now, I want to do this quickly, and I never do this shit, but hell, Eddie Hearn already put numbers out there, so I'm going to put the numbers out there to give you guys why we came up with our decision, and the decision wasn't...
Hold on, let me stop him. Whoa. Did he say high risk, high reward? I want to rewind that. I want to make sure we all heard this clearly. Let me, hold on. Let me see. That's what he said. Hold on.
We came to the table to get a deal done.
Hold on.
To make this fight happen because this is what Brian Norman Jr. wanted. It's what Senior wanted. However, in regards to the numbers, it has to make sense.
Right.
As we say, high risk, high reward.
Stop. He said high risk, high reward. Boots ain't no high risk. Let me see if the live chat is with me. Quick question. I want to see if those that's watching the replay that's live is with me. I know they watching. I already know they watching. No, I'm not, y'all know who I'm talking about when I say they. I want to know if people in the comments section can answer this question. Do y'all know Robert Helenius got knocked out by Deontay Wilder? Y'all remember that? It's just a yes or no. Do y'all remember when Robert Helenius got knocked out by Deontay Wilder? Did anybody remember that? Do anybody remember that? Can somebody just answer me? I want to tell you why I said Boots is not a high risk. Can anybody answer that question? Okay, one person, great. That's all we need is just one in the chat. Thank you. Was Robert Helenius a high risk for Deontay Wilder? No, he wasn't. You want to know why? Because Deontay Wilder knew he could knock out Robert Helenius. That wasn't no high risk. So what I'm saying is Boots is not a high risk. Didn't Brian Norman Sr. say to Mill City and Zab Judah that his son will knock Boots out? So if Brian Norman Jr. can knock Boots out, Boots is not a high risk. We know Boots is a high risk, and so do they. Brian Norman Jr. know that Boots is a high risk. Brian Norman Sr. know he's a high risk. Jolene and Adrian Clark and all of them know it. Right? So why is the manager coming out saying high risk, high reward? If you can knock a fighter out, that's not a high risk. That's easy money. High reward? Yes, high reward. But if you can knock Boots out, Boots ain't no high risk. So that's contradiction number 2.
Now, I want to do this quickly, and I never do this shit, but hell, Eddie Hearn already put numbers out there, so I'm going to put the numbers out there to give you guys why we came up with our decision. And the decision wasn't to turn down the fight. That dude sitting over there on the camera, he never said no to the fight. I never said no to the fight. Jolene never said no to the fight. Junior never said no to the fight.
All right, stop. Stop. Wait a minute. We have an issue here. We have a serious issue here. Because he just said, the manager said, we never said no to the fight. The man on the other side of the camera never said no to the fight, which was Brian Norman Sr. He said Jolene never said no to the fight. And Brian Norman Jr. never said no to the fight. But what if you, and don't let me find it. Don't let me find it because I pulled it up on Tuesday. Brian Norman Sr. told Mill City Boxing and Zab Judah the other day, he said his management team turned down the fight. Am I lying? If you think I'm lying, I'll pull the tape up. If you don't remember hearing that, I'll pull the tape up. Brian Norman Sr. said, when he was on Mill City Boxing, he said, his words, not mine. He said, we didn't turn down the fight. Our management team turned it down. Now, the manager's here on the Boxing Voice. Y'all just heard him. His words, not mine. What'd he say? We never said no to the fight. Which one is it? We need answers. Somebody ain't telling the truth. Let's continue.
It's a fucking negotiation. So if we come in high, you come in with a number, we meet in the middle to get the deal done. And we were not far apart. When I say far apart, it wasn't $1 million in between. That something ridiculous to not make it happen. This shit could have been talked out. But from our standpoint, from a management standpoint, I look at this. All right, and I'm gonna break down the numbers really quickly, as I did with the entire group. All right, $1.5 million was the offer. $1.5 million. You guys say crossing the street in boxing on the internet. So Brian is signed with Top Rank. He's not signed with Matchroom. So to cross the street in boxing on the business side, it ain't fucking free. So Brian would have had to pay 20% of his purse to Top Rank to go cross the street to go fight Jaron Ennis.
All right, stop. Roll the tape, film crew members. This is not new information to you all, is it? You've heard me teach you that for the last 2 years on YouTube, right? That if a boxer fight on another promoter's card, if they're locked into a guaranteed contract, the promoter who they're signed to have to get 20 to 30%. You've heard me say that on Tuesday. You heard me say that Friday. You heard me say that 2 years ago and last year, right? Okay, great. I got a question on that because I'm glad that he brought that up as the manager. Why? Let me be a little bit more specific. You're the manager, right? Jolene, manager, right? Why is it 20%? That's what I just want to ask a question. Y'all went over as his management team and got him signed to Bob Arum. And y'all saw the language in the contract prior to Brian Norman Jr. signing it. And you saw the clause that told you that it was going to be 20% of his purse if he competes on another promoter's card, right? So why didn't you negotiate to reduce the 20% before he signed it? And question number 2. This is where I'm going to get him right here, y'all. If he's worth what y'all say he's worth and what he deserves, because I'm going to bring this back up when we play the tape and we hear him say he's the Brian Newman Jr. deserve, then why did he have to get a call from Eddie Hearn, another promoter, in the first place? If the young man deserved this type of money as a champion now, why did another promoter had to pick up the phone and call him in the first place. My point is, as a manager, why didn't y'all have the next 3 fights laid out for him to defend his title? In other words, is when Eddie Hearn would have called my client, you know what I'd have told Eddie? This is how I would have used it as leverage to get the money that we really, really want. Where my phone at? Yeah, Eddie Hearn? Hold up. Yeah, that's Eddie. That's Eddie Hearn. Yeah, Eddie Hearn? Yeah, listen, Eddie. We already have 3 fights lined up for my client. And in the next fight, we're going to get 2.5 million for the next fight, title defense. And we got another 2 more fights after that. I got it already lined up. We mapped this whole career out the next 3. Oh, you want him to fight Boots? I don't know, Eddie. Because then now we got to rearrange our schedule. And then we got to pay the other fighter that we already locked in with. We got to pay him step aside money. I don't know, Eddie. This might not. You really want him to fight? I mean, we can get it done, but it's like, we already locked in. All right, hold on. Let me call you right back. Yeah, hello. Yeah, WBO. Yeah, what's going on, Jose? Listen now. We never talked to you about this yet because it's not really edged in stone. But we trying to fight Boots. Yeah, I got off the phone with Eddie. We got a verbal agreement for about 2 million. Huh? Yeah, y'all gonna get your 3%, but I'm just letting y'all know in advance. We're gonna put the paperwork up. Yeah, I'm gonna get back on the phone and ask Eddie to fax out. Yeah, he gonna fax over everything. Whole time, we never even locked in an agreement with Eddie Hearn. We just doing all of this. Why? To cover our bases. Why are we doing that? So when I get back on the phone with Eddie, yeah, Eddie, yeah, I already talked to the WBO. Everything is cool. Listen, we're going to take 2 million because we were supposed to get 2.5 in the next fight. So we're going to lose 500,000. But for you, Eddie, yeah, let's get the deal done. Cut us a check for 2 million. And Eddie Hearn would have cut the check for 2 million. But instead, y'all didn't have no fights lined up for the young bull. Let's keep it real. Y'all had no fights set up for him after he won the title in May. We already in September right now. June, July, August, 4 months done went by, and we never heard the next fight for Brian Norman Jr. to defend his title. Right? I'm talking from a manager's point of view now. You shouldn't have even been available for Eddie to call you in the first place. But because you was, 1.75 sounds good to me.